Moses, the author of the first 5 books of the Bible, was the first African abolitionist to bring the Hebrew children out of 430 years of slavery. Pharaoh was determined to keep the children of Israel in bondage, and because of his stubbornness, rebellion, and total disobedience to the will of God, God sent 10 curses upon Egypt for the cause of slavery. The first was the curse of blood upon the rivers and the waters, found in Exodus 7:19. The second curse of frogs, found in Exodus 8:2. The third curse of lice throughout the land, found in Exodus 8:17. Fourth curse of flies, Exodus 8:21. Fifth curse of murrain and severe pestilence, Exodus the 9th chapter and the 3rd verse. Sixth curse of boils and sores upon man and beast, Exodus 9:9. Seventh curse of thunder, fire, and hail, Exodus 9:23. Eighth curse of locusts all over the land, Exodus 10:4. The ninth curse of darkness, Exodus 10:21. 10th curse was the killing of all the firstborn male of man and of beast, Exodus 11:5. And the 11th curse was to destroy Pharaoh's army. Exodus 21:16 states, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be put to death." Deuteronomy 24:7 states, "If a man be found stealing any of his brethren, of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you." The chances are that these acts may prevent slave masters from entering into heaven. Even the fugitive slave law states, fugitive slave laws were laws that provided for the return of runaway slaves who escaped from one state to another. A clause in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 provided for the return of slaves who had escaped to the free Northwest Territory. The Constitution of the United States, which went into effect in 1788, also provide the return of fugitive slave laws. In 1793, the U.S. Congress passed a slave law allowing owners to recover slaves merely by presenting proof of ownership before a magistrate. An order was then issued for the arrest and return of the escaped slaves, who were forbidden a jury trial and the right to give evidence in their behalf. For this reason, some northern states gave orders not to help recover fugitive slaves. The Compromise of 1850 imposed heavy penalties on people who aided a slave's escape or interfered with the slave's recovery.
And we're going to stop there because it is self-evident that America has not kept their own Constitution. And we're not here tonight to say America should change the Constitution. We're here tonight to say that America should fix the Constitution. First of all, by giving African Americans the opportunity to leave. We don't need a green card, we need passports, and we need reparation. As I end my message tonight, the scripture says in Proverbs 29:18, "For where there's no vision, the people perish." I did write Mike Eastley, governor of North Carolina. I wrote Pat McCrory and many others. And I got a letter back from them. They're not interested. But they want to build bigger prisons. But I want to say tonight that America, you had not seen the wrath of God yet. It's coming. And at this time, I want to call for an ad hoc government. And I pray that the United States of America would allow African Americans to regroup, to come to the Howard University in Washington, to form an ad hoc government so we can govern ourselves, because it is a mere fact that we can't trust you anymore. We don't trust you, America, to do anything. I'd like to call for some of the benefactors of the great late Dr. Martin Luther King and the Honorable Woman Harriet Tubman, Honorable Harriet and Harriet Moore, that was bombed in 1950 in Florida. People who lost their lives and shed their blood to get us where we need to be. And to Dr. King's dream, his dream has not been fulfilled. His dream was not just to make some African Americans go on top and become conceited and forget where they came from. We need a seat in the United Nations Charter. We need to become a watch care member so we can enjoy the benefit of the United Nations agencies to start our own business and autonomy. As I stated earlier, this blue flag over here is a symbol of hope. Inside of this flag is the world's globe. All the nations in the world should receive autonomy and restoration, refugee status, development funding, safety, place to dwell in safety. And also in this flag is surrounded by olive plant, olive branch, that when Noah was on the ark for so long, he sent forth a raven, and the raven could not find a place to rest his feet, so he returned back to the ark. Noah stretched forth his arm and he took in the raven bird, but eventually he sent forth a dove. And when he sent forth a dove, eventually when the dove came in, it had an olive branch in its mouth. So that was a resting place, a refuge, that the people of God could get off the ark, off the troubled sea, and find a place to rest themselves. So I want to call this African American, it's as a member state, as a watch care member, that many of desire to return back to the motherland, a dual citizenship with American Federation of the People, to give my people a place to rest from oppression, bringing healing. We can build homes for senior citizens, foster children, have the capability to lead ourselves, to spearhead the agricultural sector across Africa, not only to feed ourselves, but we can feed Africa. With African American in Africa, we're one people. As the Germans, East and West Germans, was reunited recently, and the United States funded their reunification. When Israel wanted independence in 1948, African Americans fought lawfully to help Israel to be free from Nazism. And I think the Jewish people owes us an apology too. We know some work with Dr. King, but we're calling for all nations now to come to African American rescue. We read in the history of this country when the United States was breaking away from Great Britain, they sought help from many other countries such as France and many other places in the world, and they got support and finance from many other nations. So now America, why is there's a different standing when it comes to the poor African Americans? We don't need any more prisons. We don't need jobs, and we don't want jobs anymore. We don't trust you. If you gave us a job, we couldn't pay rent because it's too high. Our mortgages, we don't trust our mortgage brokers no more. We don't trust our school teachers. We don't trust the Rambo polices. We're tired of harassment, and we're calling for an ad hoc nation to begin our own process for healing for our people. As the choir sung, you saw those beautiful young women in our choir, because there's no men that they can get married to, because they're all in incarceration, have been deprived. They've been deprived of the pursuit of happiness. They've been deprived of civil rights. They've been deprived of autonomy. They've been deprived from college grants. They've been deprived of the ancestors, over 15 million acres of land we got to support our families. So America, we don't trust you no more.